Good morning. Today, I want to teach you all how to Rizz a girl in 2026 working edition. This has been on my mind for a moment now because I myself have recently just Rizzed a girl myself. And I want to show you step by step how I did it and the mistakes that were made along the way and how not to make them. Because, contrary to popular belief, I'm not perfect either. And neither is anyone. So embrace the imperfection and try again. Introduce yourself. Hi, I'm James. Nice to meet you. You're very beautiful. See, what that does, let me break that down play by play. What that does for you is you not only tell them your name, but you tell them a compliment. And so the first things, because first impressions matter so much, the first things they know about you is one, what your name is, which is very important. And two, that they know you think they're beautiful, which is also very important. Step two, establish dominance. This is a very early step. And the reason that it's an early step is because there are a lot of people going for a pretty girl these days. More people than you can compete with. And it's very important to establish yourself early because if you don't, an eagle will swoop out of the nest and grab up anyone that it sees, including the girl that you may be trying to riz. And there won't be anything you can do about it unless she knows that you are that eagle. The way that I like to establish dominance is puffing out my chest, spreading my arms a little bit, sort of like this, right? Really accelerating myself to my full 6 foot stature, which is real, and not looking directly at her. Profaning eye contact is very, very important. Don't make eye contact with her. Make her seek eye contact with you. Make it look like you have better things that you might be doing. You know, you don't want to ever feel, you don't want her to ever think that you are so solely dedicated to that moment that you can't be doing other things. A girl looks for someone who is established and dominant and has status. And by looking around, makes her feel like, for one, you're looking for potential dangers, right? You're not letting her distract you from potentially having to protect her from incoming dangers or other eagles swooping in. So she knows that you're always looking around and keeping an eye on the situation and the scenario and making sure that she is safe. And that to her is going to be a huge turn on. Also, she's going to be thinking, "Man, what color are his eyes? What's that canthal tilt like, you know?" And she's not going to know. And that's going to add some sense of mystery to you, and that's going to be very, very important for that established dominance, because she's just going to be stuck to you, figuring out, everyone else is going to disappear from her mind because she has to know more about you. So that's a very important thing. The third step, don't do anything that you wouldn't do with a real girl. Now, this is a very important step, and it's not to say that, excuse me, it's not to say that the person that you're talking to isn't a real girl, but we all have times where we make decisions in our heart of what we would do in our imagination, and when we're put into this scenario, right? But think about how you react and how you act around real people. How much experience have you had talking to real girls? Some, if any, a lot. You need to make sure that you address that experience and not your imagination for how you're going to act, right? Don't talk to her like she's an imaginary girl, because you're going to go off the rails. You're going to say something that you shouldn't say. Make sure You talk to her as you are experienced talking to real girls. It's very important. This is another really important way for not only establishing dominance, but also adding to that mysterious kind of rogue aspect of you that's going to get her hooked. Don't laugh or smile unless nobody is. Have you ever been in an audience before and something goes on and everyone all of a sudden kind of laughs or smiles in unison? Doesn't it ever feel like programmed, like a bot? Was that a real laugh? Or did you just laugh because everyone else did? Don't don't be like that. Don't be like everyone else. She's not looking for everyone else. She's looking at you, which means that you need to set yourself apart from everyone else. When no one's laughing or smiling, that's when you laugh. That's when you smile. When everyone's laughing, man, I just made this awesome joke earlier, you know, or, someone saying like, that's not a camel, that's my wife. And everyone goes, haha, don't do that. Give them the death stare like this. And if you do that correctly, it'll really show not just her, but everyone else that you're serious. You don't get distracted easily. And it doesn't just take your average status quo person or status quo joke to impress you and to distract you from the current situation. This is one that I have done myself. Um, and I've never seen anyone do this before, which I don't know why, because I think that it's a really good and unpatched method. And that's just to take a picture of your dirty laundry pile and show it to her. This does a number of things. For one, when you show her your dirty laundry, you show her that you're a busy man. You do a lot of things and you're constantly on the move. So much so that you're doing enough things to make a big pile of dirty laundry. I don't know if you can see it, but I have a lot of dirty laundry right here. Yeah. And that's important for me and for my status and for my figure to have that and to be able to take a picture of that and show anyone whatever because they're going to know that I'm a busy person. And so if I'm making time for you, which I am right now, it's a very important thing. And you must be very important if I'm making time for you because I don't make time for most things. For two, it shows that I'm constantly like on the move. Like I have so many outfits out there, and a lot of them are good outfits or trash outfits or whatever. But it means that I'm doing a lot of different things per day and going out with a lot of different people and making big moves. And that really shows her that I am, you know, really on that grind. Um, and that's important, because status and figure is very important to a woman. So having that there, contrary to popular belief, is actually going to show her a lot and give her a lot of green flags. So take a picture of that dirty laundry. I always recommend having a pile of dirty laundry. Make sure you include some dress shirts, because she will analyze that pile of dirty laundry and see, you know, based off of the clothes in this pile of dirty laundry, what kind of things would he be doing, right? So, maybe spice it up, add some underwear, add something in there that, is really going to make her wonder. You want that mystery aspect to be there at all times. Don't give her any answers. Um, Use lots of tongue while talking. This is a very interesting one for me because I started doing this recently. It's only when I'm talking to girls, but I started doing this recently, and it has totally changed the game for me because you really want to when you're with a girl, right? You want to show her something or tell her something without telling her something. And so, like, how do you tell her, oh, hey, you know, here's some things that you might like that we're not going to really talk about, right? Um, and that comes from making those things very obvious, right? So when I'm talking to a girl, I'll be like, hi, how are you? My name is James. You're very beautiful. At first, then that's gonna look a little weird, and it's gonna be hard to kind of get down that language. Um, but when you do, she's gonna see that very clearly, and when she sees that and thinks about it to herself, she's gonna be like, without a doubt, I know this guy. I know this guy can do this. I know this guy is good with this. And that's going to be a huge green flag for her again, and something that entices her to and adds to that mystery factor, because she's going to be thinking in her mind, like, I have to know what this is. I have to see this. I have to, experience this in action. This is, it's gonna boggle her mind. It's gonna be something that really sticks with her for days, weeks even. Um, and you really want to do whatever you can to not be forgotten about. You want to stay on her mind as long as humanly possible, and that's just another little thing that's going to keep you on her mind for a good period of time. The next thing is, don't take no for an answer. A lot of girls will look and they'll test you, right? So at this point, if you've done everything right, then guaranteed 100% this girl is at least slightly like, she's pretty interested in you. If you've done all these steps, she's definitely pretty interested in you. So some girls will, just take you at face value, be like, I need this now. Some girls will, they'll put you to the test a little bit, right? So they'll kind of start to, they'll either start to like pull away a little bit, or they'll start to be like, feign that they're not interested, but they are. Um, and they might like, kind of say no or pull away or something like that, right? This is a test. Don't be fooled by this. This is a test for you to for them to see if you're someone who can be easily pushed over or easily give up, right? At this point, they know that you're not someone who gives up, because for one, they've seen they've seen your tongue game, they've seen your dirty laundry, they've seen you looking around. You're not someone who gives up easily. You're always on the look. You're always doing something. You're always keeping it going, and they just want to double check on that. So they're gonna do something where it's like, hey, I gotta go, or I don't really give out my number or something like that. Don't take no for an answer. Push back. Be like, all right, if you gotta leave, sure, but I'm getting that number. Oh, you ain't gotta actually leave yet. Or if they do have to leave, let me take you back home, right? And that's where I lead into the next step here, right? At some point, um, you want to be the person that takes her back home, because someone is. You got to realize this. Someone's taking her back home. And that could be an Uber, that could be another guy, that could be another girl, but it needs to be you, which is very important, because, for one, it doesn't give her the chance to think and be like, oh man, maybe this wasn't the best. You're going to stay on her mind, and you're going to really be that person that sticks out again, because no one else is taking her home, right? There's no one else for her to think about except for you, because you guys are in the car, right? And it also gives you a chance to kind of know where she lives, which is important, because you want to know her status too. Like, hey, what am I working with here as well? Is this worth it for you? Is this, you know, what kind of status does her parents probably have? Um, so you're gonna take her home, preferably to her parents' house. Even if she lives on her own, you'd want to take her to her parents' house. Why? Because you want to, and this is the next step, you want to introduce yourself to her parents immediately, like first thing, before she's had any time to make up anything in her head of why there might be some random red flags in you that don't exist. You want to go to her parents' house right away while you're the freshest and the greenest flag in her mind, right? So you're going to go up to that door, you're going to knock on that door, and the parents are going to open that door. They're going to see that you're there with her, with their daughter. And, obviously, there's going to be two separate reactions. For a mother, there's going to be the reaction of, oh, she's excited. A mom might be more excited, more, um, look at this nice looking man. Because obviously, your aura that you've already built up off of the night is going to emanate to that woman. And she's going to instantly see why her daughter picked being with you that night. And so she's going to also be just as infatuated with you as her daughter is in that moment. The thing that you actually need to worry about is her dad, right? Her dad's going to have a very different take on this. Your dad will still sense your aura in that sense. Um, he will still sense that in the situation, but he will take that as men do. He will take that as a as a reason to defend himself, right? He's going to want to establish dominance over you, just like as men will. You cannot let that happen, right? You need to make sure that you win the dad over as much as you won the wife and her daughter over. So there are a couple ways of going about this. Don't make the same mistake as me. Once, I went up to a father at their house. The father opens the door, and I was a little nervous, and you can't let yourself be succumb to nervousness. Because that happened to me once, and I look at the dad, and I'm like, I didn't know your daughter had an older sister. And then that didn't come out right because obviously for certain reasons. Um, and so don't do that. Don't do that with don't do that with a dad. You could do that with the wife, and that would actually work really well in certain situations. Um, but yeah, don't do that with a dad. Don't do the I didn't know your daughter. I didn't know, whatever the daughter's name is, had an older brother. Don't do that either, because a dad wants to be recognized as a sovereign figure. So, this is the best way to do it, in my experience. Reach out your hand to the father, right? Good evening, sir. It's nice to meet you. My name is James. He shakes your hand, well, you're not dapping up, but you're shaking hand, right? Squeeze, squeeze like you've never squeezed before. A dad's, a father especially's grip is naturally strong, and he'll naturally try to overpower you with his grip. Squeeze as hard as you can. You might not overpower a father's grip, but you can at least hopefully match his grip or show him that you really mean business. A father can usually tell how serious a man is immediately just by his handshake. This is a very, very important thing for you to do. Squeeze as hard as you can. If the father says ouch, then squeeze harder. Because if you can establish dominance over the father in front of the wife and kids, then you've pretty much already gained the inheritance of the entire family and the father's blessing. Because really, a father's blessing is just saying that you have established dominance over that family. So if you can do that early, then you've already skipped a step in the future. So then the next thing was obviously, rizz the parents up. Once you've done that, stay for dinner, right? Be like, man, something smells really good in here. I'm very hungry. Stay for dinner. Invite yourself in, already feel at home. If you feel at home already, it's going to be a lot easier for the parents and for that girl to not have to tell you, hey, make yourself at home. They're gonna get used to you being there already, which is gonna be great because you're just gonna be able to come and go easily, like whenever you please, and they'll be used to you being in their home and you'll become accepted. So make yourself at home immediately. When right before dinner is about to come out, go to the bathroom, right? This is a very important step. I need you guys to be taking notes right now because these last couple steps are very, very crucial and what either makes or breaks whether you're going to get this girl in 2026. Go to the bathroom, leave your number on a notepad or a piece of paper and put it in the shower. This is very, very important because the next step that you have is disappear before anybody notices. Don't stay for dinner. Don't let them actually give you this hospitality. Really make it feel like you were there for one reason and one reason solely, and that was to introduce yourself. And now you're so busy out hustling, out really trying to make that life and that money for their daughter that you don't even have time to eat a dinner. And they're gonna actually look at that and be like, "Man, I can't believe that my daughter has been blessed with such a guy." So then we come back to the leave number in a shower. The reason that this is important is because whoever finds, they're going to be thinking when you disappear without anyone notice, they're going to be like, man, I didn't get any way to contact him, right? They're obviously going to want to contact you. And you're going to see whoever gets your number. This says some very, very important things about you. You will be texted probably later that night or, at the latest the next day because someone will find your number. And depending on who finds your number, whether it's the wife, the husband, the daughter, that will tell you a lot about that person. It will tell you that whoever found your number is a clean, hygienic person that values taking a shower before going to bed. And that's a very important thing because I personally love hygiene and I haven't taken a shower yet, so you know, don't think about it now, but I like hygiene a lot and it's important to find someone who matches those values. So, it doesn't matter if look, if the wife finds that note before anyone else, then you realize what your attention needs to turn to. You need to switch your direction over to the wife because now you understand that the wife is someone who's like-minded as yourself. If it's the father that finds that note first and he texts you, you need to switch your attention over to not rizzing the father, but you need to switch your attention over to making that father feel like he needs to be the messenger to deliver that message, to deliver that number to their daughter, right? If the daughter finds it first, that's good because now the daughter's like, that the daughter is a hygienic person and that's going to be really good for you and in the future, and potentially living together, knowing that about her, right? So that's a very important step. Do not give them your number. Try to preferably go throughout the night without having asked for their number or having the subject of a number or contact info being brought up the entire night. Keep them so enwrapped in like who you are and the mystery of who you are that they forget to ask these like basic questions, and then leave that in the shower. Let them find it themselves, right? So, boom, disappear before anyone notices. Then they try to contact you, right? You contact them, you do a text, here and there. You don't want to text too much and you don't want to text immediately, right? You got them. I mean, at this point, you have them by the neck. You have them on a leash. And this is really good. There's only two more steps that it takes to fully secure this 100%. You're already at 99% right now. And if you want to stop here, that's okay. But honestly, if you're going to be that guy that has this down packed and will have 100% 2026 working Riz a girlfriend for life, not just for a little bit, but for life. These next two steps, these final two steps, are going to be very, very important. So after texting for like a day or two, the next step that you're going to do is faking your own death. Now, this is very important for a lot of different reasons. For one, it's going to give them a chance to think about what life would be like without you, right? There's a big saying that goes on is like you never really know what you have until you lose it. You never really love something until you've let it go, right? This is going to give them an opportunity to really think, "Oh my god, I should have done something different." Right? You're instantly going to make them think if there was anything wrong with you whatsoever, they're going to throw that idea away and instead only think about what good things were about you, because that's how everyone is remembered through death. And they're gonna have that time to really think and meditate on, oh my God, what I should have, I should have been with him sooner. I should have done more with him. I should have, we should have brought him into our family sooner. Things like that. And they're gonna get a chance to miss you, and that's gonna be really important because in the future, when you do come back, right? You're going to come back. Um, when you do come back, they're gonna be so overwhelmed with joy and thankfulness, um, that you will never have to deal with an argument ever again from them, right? They will always be in such a state of, I'm so glad that you're alive, that you won't ever have to think about them like having a, couples argument or anything, because she's not going to think about anything that might show up later on in life that's bad about you. Hopefully there isn't anything, but if there is, you won't have to worry about her making a big deal of it, because she knows what life is without you. And that is going to be a memory that circles in her mind for the rest of her life. And she's never going to want to experience that again. So she's just going to be grateful that you're there. Then the last step is, well, the last step is a completion step. Congratulations, you have a girlfriend for life now. This is great. This is a really good thing. You've done a really good job. Please feel free to watch back this video as many times as it takes. You want to make this smooth, so you're gonna want to have these, um, from me to you. I'm just gonna tell you, you're gonna want to have all of these steps memorized. I would recommend getting a notepad or using the note app on your phone, and getting each one of these steps down and rehearsing them every day until you know exactly what to do and what sub steps go along with them. So that way you can really make it smooth. And then yeah, this is working right now. There might be a new meta in the future, but as of right now, I would say, go out and try this. Really put your soul and effort into it. And yeah, there's pretty much, it's 100%. So there's no way to fail. So I'd love to hear everyone's experience that they have with this. I'm looking forward to seeing how big of a difference this makes into the dating and relational world out there for people, especially my age. Um, but I expect to hear a lot of really good things. So, anyways, thank you for watching, and I look forward to hearing from everyone. So, bye.